Hey everyone, I'm Johnny, and this is my co-host Connor.
Hi, and welcome to our new podcast, Dad Shoes.
Have you ever wondered where a dad joke comes from?
Or how dads just seem to have the right wisdom for the moment.
Or you're just trying to figure out what your dad was thinking. Maybe you're a dad, and you just need to hear,
hey man, us too.
well, we're learning what it's like to wear the dad shoes.
We would like to invite you to join us on the journey. But first things first. John, what time did you go to bed last night?
Actually, last night I went to bed pretty late. I've been staying up later and later. I think I went to bed last night around midnight. Given all of this staying at home and not going out and stuff, I've actually been more social. We've been hanging out online.
On the interwebs?
Right, playing games and doing the fun stuff.
Yeah, it's been nice.
You know what, man? I think it's been great. I've really enjoyed it. Except, I usually go to bed before 10 o'clock. And really, when it's a school night or a work night, because I'm not in school, but I want to be in bed before 10. I'm going to be up at 5, and it's just a pain when I'm not. What about you?
I think it was about the same time, because I believe I was online playing games with you. So
That's why we didn't record Thursday night.
Yep, that's why we didn't record our usual night slot.
Was it midnight or 11?
A lot of times, I typically have been going to bed lately between 10:30 and 11:30. And a lot of times, I'll push it a little bit later because 11:30 to midnight is when my daughter wakes up for the first time.
Right, I know you were saying something like that the other day.
I might as well just stay awake. She's going to wake me up anyway. So I've been pushing it a little bit later, especially in this quarantine time. I turned my alarm on my phone off, like the first week of quarantine. I just haven't been worried about it.
Man.
That said, I'm still up every morning at like 6:30.
So, if I didn't have to work in the morning, I could be up later. Because, whatever, I'll be able to sleep in, catch up on my sleep. And it won't be an issue. And I'll feel terrible about it because I hate wasting the day. If I get up at 7 or 8, I've just like, half the day's already gone. Just might as well go to sleep and wake up and go to work tomorrow, you know?
Yeah, maybe a little extreme, but...
Of course. But lately, I've got 2 kids. They don't let daddy sleep in. 4:30, my daughter wakes up screaming, and she's like wide awake. If you're not a little selfish, you'll just get up and suffer the rest of the day. And she'll get up and start playing if you let her.
Yeah, there's a window where if you will go into my son's room after 5 o'clock, like, he's up for the day.
Yep.
Like, that's just the way it is. But I've also noticed... He's old enough now where when he gets up in the middle of the night, I can go in and just say, hey, stop. I'm going back to bed. And he may cry a little bit after that, but he generally figures it out. Where it's like, okay, this isn't working. I guess I'll go to sleep.
And I've decided this. I'm debating whether or not to let it slide or to, like, address it. But I think I'm going to start saying their names because...
Did I say my son's name? I wasn't paying attention.
I don't think you did. But I was going to start
remember.
saying Charlotte, May, and Mabel.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's kind of my thought. And I told Cassie, and she goes, whatever. So...
Nobody's listening anyway, so...
Right, exactly. So I've been noticing a lot that Charlotte May does. It's like exactly me. We'll be on a walk, and she'll just not be paying attention to me doing what her own and just do something different that catches her attention. But it's like, you are me, kid. You are me. So I know that I want to be with people. The problem is when she wants to be with people, if you bring her into bed, she wants to play.
It's party time.
Yeah. I can't wait till she's in like a real bed. And then I can kind of snuggle with her in her bed. Because this is where you sleep, so I'll lay down with you. And
our son is in a toddler bed right now. I don't actually fit in it, but sometimes I will try and get in with him. My wife fits a lot better. We did a trip not too long ago where we were staying in an Airbnb, back when we could do that. And he was in a twin bed. Like, twin bed by himself.
wow.
No railings. Like, not because we wanted to do that, but because that was the only option.
What a big boy.
We brought a pack and play for him to sleep in, and he was not having that. So we put him in a twin bed. And he woke up probably about 5:30 or so. So I went in and I laid with him, and it took a little while, but he eventually did fall back asleep. And remember I said he was in a twin bed with no railings. I was talking about this with some friends, actually. The dad sense, it's real.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you've experienced it too at some point, or if you haven't, you will. You know when a child is about to fall, when your child is about to fall. I'm like half asleep, but he is rolling towards the edge, and right before he goes, I catch his arm.
Awesome.
Right before he slips between the crack, I grab him and pull him back in.
The reflex is not so much a reflex for me as it is a don't break the kid thing, because she's like me and she loves to flip and tumble and jump in the air. And I mean, I toss her in the air and whatever. But there have been some times when like she'll grab my hand as like I'm turning her or something, so she doesn't get full rotation. It's the old gotta fix that.
Both my kids have learned at a very early age that when I pick them up and I want to toss them, they will grab my thumbs before I even start, because they're like, oh, I know what's coming, and they do not want to be tossed.
No kidding.
Yeah, Titus is afraid of heights. Like, he really is. If I put him on my shoulders, he will freak out.
Wow.
He is not about that at all.
No, Charlotte May climbs down. Like, I'll put her on my shoulders, and she just, I'm sure you've seen it, where she just, like, she'll swing one leg back and grab my head and kind of worm her way down until she's on the ground. I mean, I help her, I hold her, and she grabs onto my arm, and it's cool. Yeah.
When it comes to sleeping, one thing we tried, we haven't done it in a while. Marcy read this online, and that is we put a cup of water and a bowl of cereal in his room after he goes to sleep at night. So, like, we wait for him to go to bed, we'll sneak back in. We put it in the room, but we kind of hide it behind a box. Like, there was a diaper box near his door, so he couldn't see it from bed. But if he gets up and he goes to the door and he's like, hey, I want to wake up, there's a bowl of food there for him.
Huh.
And the idea is, you know, now you can eat that cereal and you can play with your toys and we can still sleep.
That's a very interesting thought. My mother told us where we're at right now, you can put her in her crib and she's going to stay there. She can't get out. Especially since we're in the process of looking for a new house and we're going to move. To keep her in that crib for as long as you can. Like right now, she can't use the potty at night anyway. That's not going to help. She's going to wet her bed anyways. So keeping her in there, we don't have to worry about her getting out. But I can't do that, and that sounds like a great idea.
My mom was the same way when we wanted to put Titus in the toddler bed. She was very for, like, no, you keep him in the crib as long as possible. Because once he can get out, then he's out.
And he knows he can get out.
And he knows he can get out, and who knows what he's going to stumble into. It was a learning process for sure. We had to take his dresser out of his room because there was one morning we went in and he was standing on top of it and was stuck. He was too afraid to climb back down.
Pacifiers?
Yeah, well, he's trying to get to the pacifiers, yes. I think I talked about it
before. Yeah,
you
did, but that was so funny.
He was trying to get to the pacifiers. He's sitting on top of the cabinet, and once he knows he can do that, that becomes a thing. So we had to take the dresser out. He'd climb up there and he would go, help! Because he knew, like, once we heard that, okay, I guess we'll have to go in.
I love hearing your kid talk, by the way.
It's so fun, and he's getting better at it every day, which is amazing. And he stopped cussing so much, which is great.
Those daggum toddlers.
I know.
And their potty mouths.
It gets hard to believe. But yeah, he's in a toddler bed, and nap time was tough for a little while because he could get out of bed.
Yeah.
And we'd put him down for a nap, and he would just get up and play. We've kind of found a rhythm now. We'll put him down for a nap, and he'll get up and play for a little bit, but he gets tired, and he'll climb right back into bed and conk out for 2 hours, which is wonderful.
That is great. I have noticed that nap time's gotten longer for us. We'll put Charlotte May down somewhere between 11:30, 12. Usually we get 2 hours, so between 1:30 and 2. But there have been days she didn't get up till 3:30. It's like she sleeps for a good 3 hours. But I wish I could do that and not regret losing half the day.
She doesn't have those concerns.
Right, she just gets to sleep whenever she wants.
I have noticed recently when it comes to sleep, and this is really just the awful truth for me, maybe there's more contributing factors to it, but I've noticed whether I go to bed at 9:30 or 11:30, it doesn't matter. I'm still just as tired when I wake up in the morning.
What it is for me is it's easier for me to wake up if I've gone to bed earlier. It's not any easier for me to get out of bed. In fact, sometimes it's even harder because my body's fully relaxed. I've had a lot of time to sleep, and I get up and say, oh, I want to get out of bed. But once I'm up, then it's like, oh, well, now I'm awake. Whereas if I didn't get much sleep, it's like I'll wake up, I'll get out of bed. And then 20 minutes later, I'm just, can I take a nap real quick? I just want a nap. And it's like that all day. Can I just take a nap, please? I just want a quick nap, just 5 minutes.
I'm not a good napper, so I tend to not nap throughout the day.
Yeah, my wife's the same way.
I remember throughout my life, I wouldn't say I was ever particularly a morning person or a night person. There were nights I'd stay up late and it'd be fine. And I loved the mornings when I got up, like with the sun. when I was younger because I felt like I had so much more time in the day. In the morning, it's not 90 degrees usually.
Right, it's been in the 60s the last week.
Last couple days.
But it's like you've got a whole half a day before your day starts. And I mean, that's why I was joking about wasting half the days. I might as well go back to sleep for the rest of the day.
Yeah, especially when I was in college and I would wake up, the mornings I had to wake up and go to work or something and do something. I dreaded it, but once I was awake, it was awesome. It was just so great to have that much time in the day, especially when I had to wake up to do something early in the morning that only took a half an hour. Like if I had a doctor's appointment and then I'm done and it's like, oh, well, I was never really a morning or a night person. I just hated the transition.
That's me. It's exactly me. I love being asleep and I love being awake. I just hate waking up and going to sleep. Well, I think it's FOMO, and we didn't have a word for it when I was growing up. Fear of missing out. I just want to be with people. I want to experience what there is to experience while I'm awake.
I think that was true for me when I was younger. Yeah. I was worried about missed opportunity. But now I think it's more, I'm so worried about the fact that I have to wake up in the morning that I'm like, I'm not going to get enough sleep. I need to go to sleep right now. That the anxiety keeps me awake of knowing the alarm clock is going to ring soon.
I've done that a couple of times. Usually it's just, I'm doing stuff. Whether it's playing police stories or...
Man, that's the worst. That game is so addicting.
Dude.
And our friend Matt bought this game for us because he wanted to play it with us. And what he will often do is he will say, "Oh no, let me watch you guys play." And so me and Jage will play, and we'll get stuck on this level. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to bed." And then we play for another hour after he goes to bed. I'm like, Matt, you are such a jerk, dude.
I mean, it's a fun game. If I just saw it, I wouldn't have done that. It's not a graphics heavy game. But it's hard enough while being really easy. It's like there's no way this game is that hard. And it's hard to beat.
It is. It's hard to beat. It's a cooperative police game. You play as two cops who... We actually never read the story. We never watch the cutscenes. We just go to the level because that's all we really care about. But it's a cooperative police game, so you always have two people. Even if you're playing by yourself, you command the other person who's on your screen. You play together, and we will talk to each other and say, oh, there's a bad guy over here. But it's realistic in that if you get shot, you're dead. Like, one shot, you're over. And that's what makes it so hard.
There is no forgiveness. It's for realsies. You get extra points when you clear a level without killing people. You lose points if you use unauthorized force.
Playing the game, I understand, and this is going to sound really stupid, I understand a little bit more why cops shoot people. Because even just the anxiety of a virtual character getting shot. Going into a building. It's stressful, man. I can't imagine if this was real life,
Yeah, there are no stakes in this game. It's just for fun. It's a game.
No, the only stake is that you're going to have to do it again.
Right. That's one of the things that's kept me up at night, is playing that game. It's fun.
My son, too, he didn't nap well when he was younger. Like, he would sleep great through the night, but then he wouldn't nap. And that was a struggle because the nap is like a break, It's your break during the day.
Yeah, for sure.
Where they get to go to sleep and you get to go do other stuff, especially the days when, you're a lead parent and you need to wash the dishes. You need to do something else. There's other things that need to get done. Nap time.
Edit a podcast.
Yeah. That's why we're so inconsistent with it. He always slept through the night pretty well, even though he didn't nap great. Now he naps great and he sleeps well through the night, which is awesome. I just wish that our daughter would sleep better through the night.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. I've been blessed with a wife who gets up. There's not a lot I can do with a kid an infant who's nursing. She doesn't want me. There's nothing I have that she wants. She just wants mommy.
Right. Well, and Mabel's a little bit younger than Riley, so it's like when Riley was that age, my wife was still getting up all the time. And we've kind of gone back to that. Like, we really tried to wean our daughter off the nighttime feedings so that she would sleep past them, sleep through them. But it hasn't gone well. So, like, I'll go in and get her and I'll try and give her some water or I'll try and give her whatever. And just kind of resigned to the fact that when our daughter wakes up, she wants food. And that is it. That's what she wants. We watched half of Captain America Civil War the other night because she just wouldn't go back to sleep.
I mean, I don't know what I would do if I was in your shoes and still had to work like I do.
Well, and that's the thing, too. Marcy's full-time as well. We wake up in the day and we're both full-time working and we're both trying to deal with these kids, and it's tough.
Take it with a grain of salt. I've always been a great napper. I can take a 5-minute nap here and there, power right through it. The problem is I'm driving a lot of the time. I can't take a 5-minute nap when I'm driving. That's a quick way to get someone killed. I always view it as there's nothing I can do. I'm just going to have to stay awake. I'll drink some more coffee to stay awake so I'm safe. That's one of my biggest concerns when I don't get a good night's sleep.
So how many cups of coffee is too much?
As many cups of coffee give you the jitters. I started drinking cold brew coffee, like at Dunkin' Donuts or something. They were serving it, but I didn't really know anything about it. It was just iced coffee, and I like iced coffee. And for some reason, it's stronger. I drink my hot coffee black, but when it's cold, I have to put cream and sugar in it. It's not as dark as regular old brewed hot coffee, but it's smooth. It doesn't have that bitterness. Anyways, I've been drinking that. That stuff. I drink more cold brew coffee than I do hot coffee just because I drink it faster, so I want more of it. And sure enough, man, that stuff, that'll light a fire under your butt.
I have tried buying the concentrated cold brew.
Like at Publix?
At Publix. I've seen it on sale. I don't dilute it much, you know. I always do cream and sugar in my coffee. Actually, I usually do cream and chocolate syrup.
What?
We do 2 cups of coffee a day. I mentioned over Christmas we got this espresso maker, and we were doing like 2 lattes a day for a long time. One in the morning and then one for the afternoon boost once the kids go down for a nap. We have recently dialed it back a little bit. Just at 2 cups, it felt like I was just running on caffeine, and that didn't feel healthy, so we wanted to cut it back. But then hearing people talk about how much coffee they drink, you know, we weren't even close. We're on 2 cups of coffee. That's nothing.
So we'll do, when I'm working in the shop, we have an espresso maker. It's just a Mr. Coffee espresso
that's what we
maker.
have.
And the only reason we have it is to make cafecitos, the Cuban coffees. Man, dude, it's sugar, it's espresso. And
that's some good stuff.
Contrary to popular belief, espresso has less caffeine than regular coffee. It's just the flavor is stronger. So people just assume, oh, that'll put a hair on your chest.
When I worked at Ocean View, when we would do staff meetings, and Pastor Jim would make, like, he called it Cuban coffee.
Yeah, he's from Miami.
I don't know that it was real Cuban coffee. It was just really strong coffee with sugar. I guess that's all it is. I did not drink coffee back then, but I would drink his coffee.
I don't think you can have too much coffee. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today on The Dad Shoes. We'd really appreciate it if you would share this with your friends. Help us get the word out. If you enjoyed our podcast, you can reach out to us on Twitter at DadChoosPod or email us at dadchoosepod@gmail.com. What dad topics do you want to hear more about? We would really love to hear from you. We'd also appreciate it if you would leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And thanks again for hanging out.
Bye.